Hello and welcome to Kelly's Anesthesia Tips. Yes, it is May and I'm doing a second YouTube because I might get too busy in June. We'll see. Um, I'm in between things for today, so I wanted to try to catch up on a few things that I want to make sure everybody's aware of. So the first one is I just updated articles page because I was researching something this morning and ran across an article that I didn't have on here. Now I do try to put just the ones that I'm writing on here, and I don't mind if anyone uses these as long as they, give me credit for my articles. So I will include links to them. Sometimes I'll cut and paste them. Just depends on, I guess, whether or not I think it looks okay to do so. So today I added, and there's a reason for this. One time I read an article and I was like, gee, that sounds like an article that I wrote. And I went and compared it and it was almost word for word. So I reached out and she did apologize. It was inadvertent, but I don't mind. I just recognize my writing style. So here we go. I did an AAPC one that they published in August on billing myths. And this was based on some really good information that I had heard and seen at an ASA back in 2023. So that's been 3 years ago at the Orlando one. And I like to mention that because it was at that meeting that I actually talked to some of the folks at ASA and said, we would really love to see more billing stuff there. So I'm going to share that with you as well. What I'll do is I'll hop over and show you on this one. You can go read the actual article because it does not require a sign-in. Sometimes it may require a sign-in. And if that's the case and there's something you need to know, you can reach out to me and I'll try to help you that way too. Many of you know that I do enjoy helping because I used to live on an island where I had no help, so I know how that feels. Okay, so this is the article that I added today. It's an anesthesia billing myths. But I also wanted to point out, because when I wrote that article back in August of 2025, there was a current ABN, which has changed. That's an advanced beneficiary notice. And I had a link to these in the article. So if you see a little hand pop up, this is a handy dandy. And I love to do this too, because if someone asks me about something and I say, hey, the ASA had that in a press release, it's on my website, just go hop over from there and it'll show you exactly what that press release was. Same thing with the ABN and all of that. So just watch those as you go. We'll come back to that. I'm going to get there, but I'm going to do articles first. So at the very bottom of this article, I put a note, and you almost have to hover over it to see it. And I'm sorry, this is not how I would design it, but I'm not a web page designer. So here we go. I do update my own website, but I'm not a designer. I put ABN notices were updated. So you will have to click on this new link here. I'll demonstrate. It'll take you to the page. The reason why I didn't do this is because when you click on this, it downloads a file, and there's a lot of files in there, English, Spanish, and different ways of pulling the data. So I didn't pull down that zip file. So all you have to do is hop over there and get it from that one. This opened in a new window, so I'm just going to close that one. And as I said, these are articles I've written going back like 20 years. And some of them have the article, some of them have links. So just knowing that, and that you can get around to where some of these are. And then just one more point out, disclaimer at the top, because some of these are over 20, 25 years old. Some of them, looking back, I think 21 years. You got to make sure that if there are codes in there that you're using whatever the updated codes are, because that was back when we were ICD-9 and all of that good stuff. So just be careful there. And I said, you're welcome to use for knowledge, but if you're going to pass it to somebody, just make sure that you provide credit to the author. I appreciate it. Okay, so here I also wanted to point out, I did some updating on my website yesterday. One of them, well, the article, and then I've got this 2 tabs. and I said this before, I'll say it again, I support anesthesia meetings in any way, shape, or form because it is not easy, especially when you're first starting, because there's no school for this. I have a thing that says there's no school for this. Here, I did a promo for the ASA that does have coding and billing at their meetings, and we have opportunities throughout the year, just not as many. So here we go, 2026. I just updated this yesterday. So I'll be doing 4 sessions. I'll be working on those PowerPoints soon. Here is how you register. You just click over. This may take you just to the anesthesia one because that's my world, but you can get to those other, like the orthopedic and the pain and all of that, by going here. And then it'll show you who the speakers are, and you should be familiar with most of us, you know, Doris, me, Marcy, Julia Kiles, Dr. McNeil, and a new Maya Turner. I'm anxious to hear her. I don't think that I've heard her, but I'm looking forward to it. So that is the last one of this year. It is on the speaking engagement page, and the reason why I have 2 is because sometimes there's seminars that I don't speak at, and I still want you to have all of that information. So I added another one yesterday. Back to there's no school for this. And then I say check back at the site often because things change. And some of you can travel, some of you cannot. Here's a web one coming up on labor epidurals. I have signed up for this. I'm not sure who's going to be doing it, but I still love to listen to all of these. And if you're a AEPC or a Board of Medical Specialty coder, you can get one Core A or anesthesia specific or auditing specific CEU for this. And then I'll also put this one. Now I've got some save the dates on here. I don't have the AIA BPM yet because I don't have the dates, but as soon as I do, I'll add that. But I do know they're going to have one. The next in person, and I thank the ASA, American Society of Anesthesiologists, for continuing to support the coding, billing, practice management side of this, because people start throughout the year. So here's your little hop over to that. You can't do it yet, but you can get notified. I can tell you it's going to be in the metropolitan DC area. I heard National Harbor is where it's going to be. And as soon as I know where the AIA BPM is, I think that'll be sometime in April or May. I'll add that as well. So there are all of your updates for things that have changed on the website recently. And you know how I like to end. So I'm going to leave you with this. Be kind to one another, generous with your knowledge. Support anesthesia meetings in any way that you can. If you can't attend them in person, which is always great because you meet people and you get to talk and you discuss things all throughout. If you can't do that, do your webinars. We have the ones coming up in November, the ASA one coming up in June next week. It's on my calendar already. So the ASA one is on June the 15th. Thank you all, and I will see you next month.